Welcome to our tutorial video series on the MS2760A, an ultraportable spectrum analyzer by Anritsu. In this section, we want to focus on the sweep, trace, and detector commands. First thing we want to look at is what can we see on the screen without any menu buttons activated. In the lower right hand corner, we can see the sweep time. We display sweep time in 1 millisecond or faster. In this case, we're sweeping around 1 millisecond or a little bit less. 501 data points are being displayed. Over here in the left hand side, we can see we're in the sweep measure continuous mode. I can toggle that and go into single mode right away. I see that I have 6 traces and only trace 1 is active, the other ones are blanked out, and I can see that trace 1 is a clear right trace with a peak detector, and I can see T1 again clearly illustrated here as a clear right. Over here in the lower right hand corner, I could also go into single command and I could say sweep once as well. Going to the sweep menu, I have those same functions repeated down here that we have in the lower right hand corner of the control panel. So I can go back to continuous, I can restart the trace at any time. Going back to single again gives me that sweep once command. The sweep to 900 is if I'm in average mode or rolling max holds, min holds, and let's change that trace to an average. And going back to the sweep command, going back to continuous and stopping single, I can see here I've already counted 354 traces, and if I wanted to stop at the end of 900 traces, I can hit the sweep to 900 here in the menu, or down here in the control panel in the lower right hand corner, and clicking that now you can see the sweep count over here on the left hand side of the control of the status panel counting up to the 900 traces. I can also turn on the number of data points I'd like. 501 is acceptable for this span, but if you'd like to increase it, you can increase it to more trace data points. Moving over to the trace detector, we can have up to 6 traces. They can be average, max hold, min hold. Max hold and min hold are perpetual, go on forever until you hit the restart command. Or you can have rolling averages, rolling max, and rolling min, which would be the last, in this case, 900 traces. I can also preset all the traces back to their original setting. And if I go back to continuous mode, now I have taken that out of trace averaging. Now trace setup is really nice to quickly see the status of all 6 of them and activate them all. And just by clicking on them all, on each one, I turn them all on, and I can quickly change them to different settings. And now I have 4 traces on with 4 different function modes of clear right, average, max hold, and min hold. Going back here to trace 1, make it an average as well. Make trace 3 an average. Blank out trace 4. Turn on different peak detectors, showing, and we'll zoom in a little bit on this with our scale per division. Let's go like 3 dB scale per division. Move the amplitude up to minus 50. Oops, I forgot to put the minus sign in, minus 50. And you can see that you can see the different effects that the different detectors have on the trace. I'm going to switch my amplitude back to the settings that we had before. And whatever trace is selected is the trace information is over here. I'm up to the 900 count, and trace 3 is the average of it. Trace 2, I can see the status of it, and trace 1. We can restart the count, and all the traces are now synchronized together. One more command on the trace, all detectors to peak, and I guess 2 more commands, and then preset all traces. Back to live trace, trace 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all blanked out, and back to my original state. So that's it for the MS2760A's sweep, trace, and detector functions. Thank you again for your time and attention in looking at these videos.